From Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California, CBS Sports presents the Detroit Lions versus the Los Angeles Rams. Well, down on the field, the toss of the coin, the Rams won it. They elected to receive, so the blue and gold will be going right to left on your screen, and Detroit will find itself on the defense immediately. As a coach, George, is it that important to win the toss? After all, defense is supposed to be so important. Maybe better to be the loser.
Well, if we had a better defense, then I would rather kick off and be on defense and go with my strength. I think an interesting thing here is to watch Eddie Murray kick off, number 3. He kicks a high ball. He has hang time on his kickoff like some punters.
Eddie Murray is a 23-year-old rookie out of Tulane who was born in Halifax, Nova Scotia. He's a soccer-style kicker. Meanwhile, at the other side, there's Monty Clark, who weathered a 2-14 season last year. Let's hear what he has to say yesterday about today.
Last year's 2-14 record we don't think is indicative of the kind of football team we have. We had a lot of injuries last year, among them our quarterback Gary Danielson. Now he's back and healthy with the addition of Billy Sims and other players who got experience last year and new players this year. We hope to be able to prove that we're a lot better team than we showed last year, and we're going to have to play our very best to expect to have a chance against the Los Angeles Rams.
So Eddie Murray, the rookie out of Tulane, who has had such an impressive exhibition season. He was 8 for 8 in points and 10 out of 12 in field goals. His longest field goal was 54, and they say he can put it in the end zone with the best of them. He'll tee it up on the 35, and Drew Hill is the deep man for the Rams.
The other thing is the New Orleans Saints have had kicking problems. They let this guy get right out of their backyard.
So Eddie Murray about ready to kick it off. Drew Hill is flanked by Gooman on his right, Sully on his left. And here we go. And there's that hang time George was talking about. Drew Hill from his own 2-yard line to the 15. And breaking away. Murray missed him. He got away from Freedy. Touchdown. What a way to start the year. A 98-yard kickoff return by Drew Hill, the 2-year man out of Georgia Tech. And the Rams lead 6-0.
Well, Drew Hill did this last week to beat the Chargers. There's a missed tackle. He breaks to the outside. A missed tackle by Eddie Murray, number 3. Now it's sure speed, cuts back. What a way to dedicate a new stadium.
Incredible. The first play, the kickoff, and Drew Hill, 98 yards for a touchdown. Now Frank Corral, who will be kicking and punting. A hold by Nolan Cromwell. And it looked like there was offside in the line. The kick is through the uprights, but let's wait and see. The Rams might very well have moved. We'll see if they were drawn off. There is Drew Hill, 5'9", 170-pounder, 23 years old, 2-year man out of Georgia Tech. Needless to say, he can fly. As we said, there was motion in the line. The Rams are offside, so they'll have to kick again. By the way, George, we have a moment. Frank Corral is going to have to kick and punt. Is that too much for asking one man?
Very few people in the history of pro football have been able to do it. If anybody can do it, Frank can, because he's a good athlete and he's very strong, powerful athlete.
So Cromwell will be holding it from just inside the 15-yard line. There you can see the hands of Nolan. The spot, the kick is blocked. It was a line drive right into the heart of the line. Bill Gay, number 79, had a hand in it.
Well,
and there he goes, big Bill Gay, who, by the way, went to school at USC, so welcome home. Let's take another look at that TV.
Well, this touchdown looked like it was a wedge return up the middle, and Drew Hill pushed off to the outside, used his blocking, and then from there on in, it was on his own. Now, Detroit had the middle jammed up, but he spun off to the outside.
Well, it looks like the Ram has indeed found a new home as Drew Hill takes the opening kickoff, 98 yards for a touchdown. Corral misses the point. A short kick at the 10-yard line. Rick Kane starts it there to the 25, bulls his way across the 30-yard line, and down he goes. And the Lions finally get their hand on the ball. Irvin, number 47, made the tackle for the Rams. Here's the way Detroit's backfield with Gary Danielson returning at quarterback. Then you have Billy Sims, and Dexter Bussey is starting over Bo Robinson. And the men who will handle the football, the wide receivers Fred Scott, number 87, Leonard Thompson will be a wide receiver at 39, and David Hill, the tight end. And the way the Lions stack up now, Freddie Scott goes wide right, Leonard Thompson left, and they split Sims and Bussey behind Danielson. And Billy Sims bumping into Elias on the left side and couldn't move. What about returning to the NFL? What are Gary Danielson's thoughts? Here's what he said yesterday.
There's no doubt that we're looking forward to the 1980 season. We've had a great training camp. With the addition of Billy Sims, we feel that we've added an explosive weapon that we haven't had before. We've matured now. This is our third year with Coach Monty Clark. We're ready and looking forward to the season.
So from the 33, the Lions put it in play, 2nd and 8. Fowler over the ball, and Danielson calling, and hands off to Sims, and Billy is out across the 40 and finally wrestled down at about the 43-yard line. Nolan Cromwell made the tackle to bring him down, but good block by Russ Bollinger.
The fast trap with a reverse pivot. Now once Sims gets beyond the line of scrimmage, watch his running style. Good leg action, spinning, turning. Now he also does not have that football protected then. If he carries the ball like that, be alert for a fumble.
Well, it's 1st and 10 on the Ram 40, on the Lion 44. Out of the eye. And here comes Sims, tripped up at the last minute by Joe Harris, number 51 of the Rams, but he still got across the 45. Let's take a look at the offensive line for Detroit. George, you've always made the statement, great backs make great lines. Well, here's the Lions up front. Baldishweiler, Elias, Fowler, Bollinger, and Dorney. On the touchdown against New Orleans, he went inside Bollinger. Second and 8 on the 46. Sims again trying to follow Dorney and dragged down from behind at the 45-yard line. Freddie Dreyer had him from one side, but grabbing him was Jack Reynolds. He made the initial contact.
Well, you can be sure that the Ram linebackers are going to be keying Sims, number 20, on every down. He's the big play guy. The Rams just came in with their nickel defense.
So the Lions started on their own 31. They've worked the ball out to the 45-yard line. There's Ray Malavasi trying to pilot the Rams to their 8th straight Western Conference title. So 3rd and a long 8 from the 45. And Danielson going to put it in the air. He looked at Bussey and goes over the middle to Freddie Scott, who's inside the 50-yard line. Rod Perry brought him down, but he's shy of a first down by about 2 yards.
Third and 7, backpedaling against the nickel. He hits the underneath man, not long enough. Good coverage by 49 Perry. Made the tackle, prevent the first down.
So Tom Skladany will be doing the kicking, the pride of Ohio State. They used to call him beer can, did Woody Hayes, because there was no return on his punch. We'll see about this one. Irvin is deep man for the Rams, and this one squirts off to the side, hits at the 19, and is finally touched. Leonard Thompson was down there to touch it inside the 15-yard line. They'll spot it on the Ram 14, and that's where the Rams will put it in play. Well, 1st and 10 on the Ram 14.
He did the right thing, tried to kick out of bounds. Would like it a little bit deeper, but you don't want that return if you can possibly prevent it.
The Rams put it in play, leading 6-0. They have a 1st and 10 on their own 14-yard line. Cullen Bryant and Elvis Peacock, the deep man out of the eye. Peacock slips and falls down. And Hayden finally hit by James Hunter. What about Peacock falling down, George? He hadn't even touched the ball.
You know, Ben, he doesn't pick his feet up too much. Now, of course, he's on the infield, so he has an excuse there. But when you watch Elvis run, he kind of drags him. The Lions were in an undershifted defense, a good defense for that particular play, which was a broken play.
A broken play that picked up 5 and got the ball out to the Ram 19, so that's not so bad. Preston Denard goes wide left, and Billy Waddy is on a wing wide right. And Waddy is now in motion to the left. Second man is Elvis Peacock. Woodcock can't get him. He is tripped up as he goes across the 30-yard line. Fantetti hit him by the ankles and slowed him down, and then Luther Bradley brought him down.
Well, the Lions are still in the undershift. The Rams ran away from the strength. Peacock cuts back underneath. Good yardage, good blocking. Detroit is going to have to stop this running game first before they stop the pass.
The Lions were 25th of 28 NFL teams against the rush last year, so they figured to improve in that department, but we'll see. Hayden having some time, has his man Bryant across the 35, and he's tripped up as he falls across the 40. Charlie Weaver, another SC man who has come home, made the tackle. And I guess we should point out that for Detroit, Russ Bollinger went to school at Long Beach State. Jimmy Allen went to UCLA. Weaver, Cobb, and Gay all went to SC. So there's 5 boys who have more or less come home.
Detroit has one linebacker I really like, number 52, Stan White. They made a heck of a trade to get him. He's a general on the field.
2nd and 2 on the Ram 40-yard line. In motion goes Preston Denard. Second man stumbling and stacked up is Elvis Peacock. No opening.
You know, Ben, after you've been scored on with a kickoff return, it's like a home run with the bases loaded. It kind of shakes you up. So this Detroit defense now has to solidify and not let the Rams go down the field and have a 14-point lead in the first quarter.
For the Rams, Elvis Peacock, along with tight end Victor Hicks, they were teammates of Detroit's illustrious Billy Sims as the cheerleaders exhort the Rams to move. 3rd and 3 on the Ram 39. Peacock is on the wing right. Bryant a sole setback. And Hayden lobbing it over the middle to Bryant, but they bury him, and White was the first man to hit him, and that's Stan White. He got just across to the 41. He needs another yard for a first down, unless they figure that his forward progress carried him.
His forward progress gave him the first down. Here it is. A good call by Hayden. Underneath pattern. Linebackers are dropping. His cadence almost pulled Detroit offside. Did you notice that, Ben?
Yes, and Detroit, of course, was a team that had a lot of trouble with penalties last year. They gave up 41 first downs because of penalties. Off the hands of Billy Waddy, and right there Williams, Walt Williams, number 21, defending. Of course, Waddy's always a home run threat.
Now, that's interesting. Their first pass downfield, they threw it on Walt Williams, so that could be an indication when they want to go to their wideouts, they'll throw on 21.
Jack Youngblood, who took a walk along with Larry Brooks, Jim Youngblood, and Dennis Harrah. 3 of the 4 are in uniform, and it figures that Jack might play, even though he didn't get much spring training. So the Rams trying to make it move. 2nd and 10 on the 43.
Oh, beautiful defense. Beautiful defense.
That was John Mendenhall, by the way, who was waived by the Giants and Green Bay, picked up by Detroit, 9 years out of Grambling. I think John might be a help. We got a couple of scores to duck in. As you can see, finals. San Francisco held on to beat New Orleans by 3. Tampa Bay over Cincinnati. And Pittsburgh led 17-0. They were tied, went on to win at 31-17. And another couple of finals. Buffalo knocks off Miami 17-7, and New England does the same to Cleveland 34-17. 3rd and 11 on the Ram 42. Both backs stay in. Hayden fakes once and going long to Preston Denard. No good. Covering was Jimmy Allen all the way.
Well, they had him open. Good pass protection. The Lions are going to have to rush a little bit better than that. That previous play by the Lions, they dogged. They had what they call a run dog to stop the run, and they called it perfectly.
That's Jeff Rutledge on the sidelines marking that play down as busted. And now Frank Corral. We've seen him kick 3 times as Hayden talks to Malavasi. And here comes his first punt for keeps. And he drills it down the right side. Grabbed there by Arnold. Flag on the play just as Ivory Sully hit him. Let's take another look at that. There is Arnold.
That's a clip. Yeah, right there. We saw him on the ground.
Ivory Sully coming down despite the penalty. And here's the call by Cal LaFleur.
Detroit.
That's Cullen Bryant standing on the sidelines taking a respite, alternating, of course, with Elvis Precock in the Ram backfield. And what a workhorse he is. Hard to believe he was the defensive rookie of the year in the backfield and now one of the big offensive.
What an offensive back he's developed into. He can block, he can run inside, outside. He's a good receiver.
So the Lions will put it in play. 1st and 10.
Yeah.
There's the call again.
Illegal use of hands. Detroit, well, 1st down.
So Detroit, stunned by a 98-yard kickoff by Drew Hill, now penalized on the punt, and they'll put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 11. The Rams leading 6-0. On the Rams sideline, a frustrated Vince Ferragamo out with a groin pull. The kid who led the Rams in the Super Bowl can't make it for the opening game of 1980. But Danielson can for the Lions. 1st and 10 on the 11. And it'll be Billy Sims through the left side of the lineup and out to the 21-yard line. Just about enough for the 1st down as Monty Clark talking to his rookie Freedy before sending him in. Mike Freedy from Indiana. Some more finals. Minnesota shading Atlanta. Green Bay's Chester Markle tried a field goal in overtime. The kick was blocked back to Markle, who ran for a touchdown. And Green Bay beat Chicago 12-6 in overtime. Measuring for the 1st down.
Did you notice how Billy Sims hit that last play? He comes out of his stance like he's running a 100-yard dash. Quick hitters, plays where he can come right out at you. That's what he's effective with.
Billy, of course, scored 50 touchdowns at Oklahoma, so he's the spearhead of the attack. 1st and 10 on the Lion 21. Freedy is wide left. David Hill, the tight end, on the right side. And Freddie Scott, who has caught a pass, is wide right. Sims bumps into Jack Reynolds, and that's the end of that.
See, it's going to be difficult for the Detroit offensive line to hold that Ram defense off on sweeps. His best bet to date have been quick hitting plays. This is an off-tackle play. He does not have a hold. Reynolds was not blocked. He makes the play.
Sims has carried the ball 6 times and stopped by Jack Reynolds, the 11-year veteran out of Tennessee. How many times is too many for Sims? None, huh? So 2nd and 8 on the 23. Lions a little bit confused as Fussy came up to block. Jack Youngblood is in there on the defense, and it is broken up, intended for Freddie Scott. And what a job done by Rod Perry. He almost knocked the air out of that ball. What a shot.
Rod Perry read the play all the way. The ball kind of floated. Called an audible on this because it looked like the Rams were going to dog. See how the ball kind of floated? Perry almost picked it off.
Fred Scott is 6'2" and 180. He had 5 touchdowns last year, and he's their #1 pass receiver, but not that time. So it is 3rd and 8. And there's Rod Perry, 5'9", 182. He had 8 interceptions 2 years ago. Danielson, with both backs releasing, goes to the left side to the tight end, David Hill, and he makes the reception on Johnny Johnson, a $1 million baby.
Very good, Ben. The Rams were in the nickel, but part of your nickel ends up in man-for-man coverage. Here's Johnson on Hill. He has him beaten all the way. Perfect pass, pretty good catch. 1st down.
How does a tight end get that far outside of a strong safety?
Well, sometimes that strong safety ends up being inside by the move. The fake of the play moves him inside, and he breaks outside.
Now the Lions go slot right. That's Freddie Scott inside Leonard Thompson. David Hill is on the left side. Danielson likes it upstairs. And there's a reason. Once again, it is going to be a catch by David Hill with Johnny Johnson on him, and it looks like the tight end has decided to pick on the strong safety.
Well, they got him in a man coverage. It's pretty good protection. Same type of a pattern. It's what we call a short corner by the tight end. Hill's one of the better tight ends in all of football.
David Hill out of Texas A&I, 5-year veteran. As you look at the Ram bench, and there's Big David, 6'2", 230-pounder. Replaced Charlie Sanders and has done a good job. Danielson going to get rid of another one, and he's going deep this time. No good for David Hill. And this time the throw was closer to Johnny Johnson.
3 consecutive plays on Johnny Johnson. Now he had him open. He had him beaten, but he ran that corner a little deeper. See? Before he cut it off a little sharper, and that's where Danielson threw the ball like he did the last 2 times.
Johnny Johnson, a rookie out of Texas, signed a 6-year contract for $1.1 million. So the All-American at Texas has moved into the high rent district before he even played 1 game in the NFL. And it was his contract that caused a lot of trouble on the Rams. 2nd and 10 is Bob Brzezinski now. Comes in there at a linebacking spot. He recently walked out of camp. It'll be Billy Sims, and he is stacked up on the right side of the Ram lineup. They refused to give, and it's Cody Jones who made the tackle. Cody replaced Merlin Olsen, was on the injured reserve last year with an Achilles tendon, and of course the Rams are delighted to get him back.
That was a good call, a fast trap, which is one of Sims' better plays against the nickel defense. Nothing wrong with it. It'll break, but at least it keeps the defense honest.
It is 7-0 as you look at Eddie Hill and make it 6-0 on Drew Hill's touchdown. 3rd and 7 on the 40. In motion is David Hill. Youngblood kept out, flag on the play, and it is broken up, intended for Freedy, and Nolan Cromwell was there.
I think the Rams are offside.
Jack Youngblood coming in hard along with Freddie Dryer. We're not getting the numbers yet. They're just calling the penalty.
Danielson is mixing his cadence very well, Ben. He's going on quick counts and long counts. He's doing the same thing that Hayden.
Danielson is 3 for 5 for 41 yards. Sims has carried 7 for 30.
Offside, 85. Defense, 3rd down.
85 is Jack Youngblood, so he was the man in there. I knew he and Dryer were really on the move.
Here's an interesting call here.
3rd and about 3 yards to go.
What do you do? Do you run or pass?
Well, what would you do?
I'd throw the ball. I'd throw the ball underneath to one of my backs.
6-0 in favor of the Rams. A 98-yard touchdown return by Drew Hill. And now the Lions trying to recover. 3rd and 3. The ball just shy of the Ram 35. He's going to throw it, and he's being chased by Johnny Johnson. So they had the strong safety coming, and he rode Gary Danielson right out of the play. Boy, he's quick.
They guessed pass, and they ran a dog that Detroit can't pick up. Came in with too many men. Danielson shows that he's healthy. Ran away. An immobile quarterback would have been sacked and got rid of it.
So on a 3rd and 3, Danielson is chased by Johnny Johnson, and the play goes down the drain. So it's 4th down, the ball on the 35-yard line. Eric Hipple is in there, so you have an all-rookie, a rookie snapper, holder, and kicker.
And this guy can punt also.
Remember, Ed Murray was 10 out of 12, Coach, in the exhibition.
Right.
The spot at the 42, it's a 52-yard kick, and he did it. What a leg. Eddie Murray out of Tulane.
Is that a big 3 points for Detroit? They really came up with a sensation on this kid. And the other thing I started to say, Ben, is that he can also punt from that formation, punt out of bounds.
With 3:27 left in the first quarter, the Rams 6 and the Lions 3. Eddie Murray ready to kick off from the Detroit 35, and deep for the Rams is Drew Hill, who ran the opening kickoff 98 yards for a touchdown. He's flanked on his left by Ivory Sully and on his right by Mike Gooman. So Eddie Murray ready. The Lions are on the board, and we're in the ball game. Another booming kick. This time not as deep as the first one. Drew Hill bumps into Gooman. That breaks the play, and he gets across the 15 to about the 16-yard line. Friends, this telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written. There's the drive, 8 plays, 54 yards, capped by that 52-yard field goal by Eddie Murray.
I was going to say, we had an expression, that every play is a big play. That 5-yard offside gave him enough yardage to kick that field goal. You forget about that.
It sure was enough yardage, a 52 yardage. Cullen Bryant and Elvis Peacock are back of Hayden. The ball on the Ram 15, and Hayden's going to put it up. Down the left side to Billy Waddy, and playing him very loose was Walt Williams, so he goes out of bounds at the 29-yard line is where they'll spot it. Kind of a dandy. Play action fake to Peacock. Hayden's cranking up and overshoots Preston Denard. Stan White was trying to back up and help out, but he could not have helped.
Yeah, Stan White's a big play defensive guy, and also Preston Denard slipped. Quite a few players have been falling down. The field looks a little bit hard, and that's why Pat overthrew him.
On the sidelines, the veteran defensive end Freddie Dryer, 12 years out of San Diego State. Freddie 6'6", 231, 34 years old. Second man, Elvis Peacock. Kent Hill almost backed into him. Bill Gay backed up the play, and Hunter came along with Purifoy to hit it. It was Bill Gay, number 79. Whoops. Fantetti was a little bit angry. He was the one you saw his arm come punching in at Peacock. But it was Bill Gay, number 79, who really turned the play in.
Well, Bill Gay did not get blocked. He strung it out and allowed Pursuit to come over and make the play. Good play by Fantetti, 57 coming over.
And at the bottom was James Hunter. So it is 3rd and 8 on the Ram 31. About 8 to go. Willie Miller goes on the left side as they go slot right, and Waddy in motion. Almost getting through is Charlie Weaver, and it is intercepted. Jimmy Allen is up at midfield, slips, and down he goes, and the Lions are in business.
And Pat Hayden took a real blow.
Charlie Weaver of SC roughs up Hayden, and it's intercepted by Jimmy Allen of UCLA. Welcome to Southern California.
Now they had a nickel dog, and see that hit Hayden took? The timing was a little bit off. Heads-up play by Allen.
So the ball is spotted on the Ram 46-yard line, and the Lions now have suddenly taken control of it with that key interception.
Danielson likes play action. Go for a big play after a turnover.
Well, he has Freddie Scott in a slot inside Leonard Thompson. In motion is Billy Sims. Danielson to Bussey, and it's an end around to Freddie Scott. Scott to the 40, to the 35, 30, 25, 20, tripped up at the 15, and dragged down at the 10-yard line. And it was Joe Harris who got him from behind.
We called it. After a turnover, he likes to go for a big one.
End around from Dexter Bussey to Freddie Scott.
With off a motion. Fool the Rams completely. Good blocking. Danielson throwing a block downfield. That keeps the defense at home. They don't pursue as much when you run a reverse or some gadget on them like that. Good call, well executed.
The ball is just shy of the 10-yard line. It's just about 1st and goal now as they put it on the 10. That was a 36-yard end around. Dexter Bussey handing off to Freddie Scott. Billy Sims, and a flag on the play. He was hit by Nolan Cromwell straight up.
When the umpire calls it, it's usually against the offensive line and holding. Let's see.
A big battle with Mike Fanning.
Yeah.
And he is fighting Amos Fowler, and there might have been a hold in that battle. Last year, the Lions were hurt more than most teams by penalties.
Holding, 65,
right.
Offense.
So it was Amos Fowler. He was battling Mike Fanning and guilty of holding. So that puts it back to the Ram 20. 1st and goal. Freddie Scott goes wide left. David Hill, the strong tight end, is on the left side. And they send Leonard Thompson wide right. Danielson down the middle, and it's caught by Freddie Scott. He took it away from Johnny Johnson. Boy, are they picking on $1 million.
Well, That was a good throw and a good catch and good defense. It was a perfect pass and well executed. Johnson was right with him. And
So it'll be
Danielson,
2nd and 11.
and Danielson put it up high where he could take it away from him.
A lot of pressure on a rookie strong safety.
There sure is, and they're working on him. They're going to make him earn his money.
2nd and goal on the 11. Sims, the deep man out of the eye. Freddie Scott is wide left. Freedy is in a wide right position. Billy Sims following Dexter Bussey goes outside to the 5, touchdown. What a way to start his career.
Beautiful, beautiful. He showed his speed. The Rams were bunched up inside from the eye.
And Monty Clark said that a way to go. Take another look at Billy Sims scampering for a TD from 11.
See, really the play was a fast trap up the middle. Sims saw that it was closed and turned it into a touchdown.
Notice how he took that ball in when Nolan Cromwell came over,
Yes.
so he's learning to hold on to that. So the touchdown gives the Lions the lead of 9-6. Now let's see Eddie Murray's point out of a hold by Hipple. The snap, the hold, and the kick is good. And a flag on the play, however.
Now the Rams are offside.
So if it is against the Rams, they can exact the penalty on the kickoff. And the Lions are growling here in Anaheim. They're leading Los Angeles 10-6. Here's the official
The extra
announcement.
point is good. Defense offside, number 53. The penalty being enforced on the kickoff.
Jim Youngblood was a little offside. He's one of the fellas who was not at spring training. Let's take another look at Billy Sims scampering 11 for the TD.
This is the same blocking that we saw in the pregame film. Sims saw the hole was closed, pushed off, used his speed, went outside. Joe Harris was inside. The safety was inside. This guy, there's no question he's going to help this ball club.
Really liked the way he tucked that ball in.
Yeah.
He saw Cromwell, and he wasn't about to let Nolan take a shot at him. So he's not only running, he's thinking.
He's going to get better every week. He's kind of feeling his way as he goes along.
Well, here's that other youngster, Eddie Murray, the rookie out of Tulane, born in Nova Scotia. Two years ago, Eddie Murray at Tulane kicked a 54-yard field goal. The 52-yard field goal he just kicked earlier ties him in the Detroit record books with, among others, Errol Mann. So what a way for him to start his career.
You see how important that missed extra point is now. You need either 2 field goals or a touchdown.
Right, and the Rams had 2 of them. Remember, they were offside, tried it again, and it was blocked. So it is 10-6 in favor of the Lions. We have 21 seconds left in the first quarter, and there's a profile shot of Billy Sims out of Hooks, Texas. That's where he was raised. And here we go. Drew Hill in the end zone from 2 yards deep. And he is hit at about the 13-yard line. The first man to hit him was Gary Cobb. He's another ex-SC boy. And Cobb was hit along with number 35, Wayne Smith, out of Purdue.
4.1 hang time on that kickoff.
We mentioned those SC, UCLA, and Long Beach State players with Detroit because, you know, not only is it the first game, but there's extra adrenaline pumping in their veins coming back to Southern California. We have 12 seconds left in the quarter. The Lions are leading 10-6. Preston Denard wide left. Billy Waddy goes wide right. Peacock and Bryant behind Hayden, and here comes Big Bryant. Woodcock had him get away. John Woodcock had him back at the 10-yard line, but he broke that tackle, and Jimmy Allen finally had to come up and get him. Clock running out for the first quarter.
That's interesting to me, Ben. The Lions are using an undershift, what we call a 54 defense. Hayden ran right into it. They should have lost yardage on that.
Well, we'll finish up the first quarter, especially showing more lightning from Detroit's Billy Sims. Watch him go outside. Watch him tuck the ball when 21, Nolan Cromwell, comes over, and he breezes in unmolested for his first touchdown in his great young career.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Natural Light Beer, brewed with only natural ingredients for a clean, refreshing taste. And by The Ford Motor Company bringing you a new generation of small, fuel-efficient cars that arrive this fall.
Well, as the man would say, how about those openers with Drew Hill running for 98 yards, then Billy Sims running for 11. The field goal by Murray, and the Lions leading 10-6 as we start the second quarter. It'll be second down and 5 for the Rams on their own 18. And here comes Cullen Bryant, tripped up by Jimmy Allen. And then Charlie Weaver came over along with Purifoy.
Well, again, it's interesting to me that Hayden is still running into the undershift defense, which is the strength of the defense. Eventually, he's going to call an audible and go away from that in a running situation.
Of course, Hayden could be a little rusty. You know, he broke his finger in '79 in a game against Seattle. That kept him out for the remainder of the year, and then he was alternating all through the exhibitions with Ferragamo. 3rd and 5 on the 18 for Pat Hayden and the Rams. Waddy wide right, Denard left, and hold it on the right side. Doug France and Bill Gay.
That's right.
And it looked like France came up and out of his point stance to draw Detroit off, and he's the guilty of the infraction.
He's the one.
Big Doug out of Ohio State. He had a bad elbow last year. He played with it. He figures that he'll be able to block a lot better this year.
Detroit has their nickel defense in there. The last time they used a nickel,
Before the snap, 77 offense, 3rd down.
they dogged and got an interception.
Well, it's 3rd down and 10. The ball is on the Ram 13-yard line. Waddy in the slot right, inside Denard. Drew Hill is wide right. And over the middle, no good, intended for Waddy. Luther Bradley was right there with him, however. We can duck in a score that is upcoming. Philadelphia and Dick Vermeil leading Denver 7-0. And, of course, George, next week we'll see the Eagles at Minnesota.
Eagles are a strong team this year.
So 4th and 10 on the Ram 13. And Frank Corral will have to boot it out of the end zone. John Arnold standing deep on the Lion 43-yard line. And Corral, who has a great leg, bumps it out there to the 31. He got by Ivory Sully, trying to get outside, and he was boxed in. Down he goes.
Frank, 4.3 hang time, which is very good. He just powered it out there. One thing he does, he kicks a different type of a ball every time he punts, puts the pressure on the return man.
So 1st and 10 for the Lions on Detroit's 41. The Lions leading the Rams 10-6. Monty Clark, who said this wasn't a 2-14 team, he sees them leaving here at the outset. Danielson with Bussey and Sims out of the eye. Flag on the play. Danielson has it broken up by Joe Harris. It was intended for David Hill.
There's Sims' inexperience. Joe Harris made a nice play buzzing back. Sims was in motion.
Why would that be? What inexperience with it?
You don't, most colleges don't call that many audibles.
Here he is now.
Here he is. Now watch. Now see the head of the quarterback moving. He called his cadence with enunciation. Sims was affected by it.
2nd down.
Rather than the defense.
So it is 2nd and 10 on the 41. On the sidelines, there's your boy, Maxie Vaughn.
Maxie Vaughn, what a job he's doing. This is one of the best moves Monty Clark made, bringing this guy in. He's their defensive coordinator.
2nd and 10 on the 41 with both backs releasing. Danielson down the left side to Hill, no good. That time it was broken up by Irvin. So the Rams have switched. Leroy Irvin picked up the tight end, David Hill.
Well, they had a coverage on where you pick up the crossing man coming over, and Danielson was very fortunate that ball wasn't picked off.
Irvin is a rookie out of Kansas who can play both corner and safety and has very good speed. They say that Leroy Irvin can do the 40 in a 4.5, which is mighty fast. 3rd and 10 on the 41 of Detroit. Brzezinski on the right side and Jim Youngblood on the left, the linebackers for the Rams. Bussey again coming up. Little indecision for the young Lions. Danielson to Scott, no good. With Thomas right there with him, he overthrew him.
Smart defense on the Rams. They forced the Lions to pick up the dog, forced them to audibilize. Danielson threw the ball.
Just
overthrown, little bit wide.
Leroy Irvin will go deep as Tom Skladany is ready to punt from the Lion 26. There's Irvin standing on the Ram 20, and there's Tom Skladany. Skladany had disc surgery in July last year, so he's another man coming back off the shelf. Tom arrows one down, and a fair catch by Irvin at the 20-yard line. And remember, this year you had better make sure we know it's a fair catch. So Leroy Irvin, fair catch is on the 20. It is 10-6 Lions early in the second quarter. With 13:42 left to the half, the Rams down by 4, put it in play 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Billy Waddy is the slot left. Inside Denard. Terry Nelson on the right side. Pitch back to Elvis Peacock. And they'll gang him as he gets across the 25. Charlie Weaver along with Fantetti and Allen. And Mendenhall, just to call them all. Oakland, Kansas City, 7-7 in the second quarter.
Now that time, Ben, Hayden ran away from the strength of the defense. That's what I would expect him to do.
So it is 2nd and 4 on the Ram 26.
By the way, Skladany was property of the Rams for 1 week. If they could sign him, a deal was made. Couldn't sign him. He sat out the entire year.
2nd and 4 on the 26. In motion is Denard. Peacock with daylight, and it's jammed up, and a nice job of jamming it up by Gay just as he hit the 30-yard line. And then Luther Bradley came along. Big Bill Gay, number 79, doing a good job. Meanwhile, some of the offensive people huddling with Monty Clark. That's Homer Elias, number 61, out of Tennessee State, and Amos Fowler out of Southern Mississippi.
And you know what I think they're talking about, Ben? Detroit has had little trouble adjusting to the dog pickup. At least it's been effective for the Rams with the nickel defense. If they stay with that, the Lions are going to have to pick that up and complete the pass to get the first down.
Talking about the first down, the Rams are an inch or two shy, and they will make some changes now. Arnold and Hicks come in. Victor Hicks, a tight end for the Rams, is another Oklahoman. Elvis Peacock and Victor Hicks were teammates of Billy Sims.
And Hicks was outstanding in the preseason. I believe he had 3 touchdown passes.
Yes, he did. He's wearing number 81. And Walt Arnold, number 45, is out of New Mexico. So 3rd and inches for the Rams for a first down on their own 30-yard line. Arnold on a wing. He's outside Hicks. And they go a little bit that way as Peacock goes over the middle and would appear to have it.
I was just going to say that. Peacock over the top from the eye. That's a good sound play. Get the first down.
Well, it was a marvelous tennis match yesterday with McEnroe and Connors, and that reminds us that the U.S. Open tennis will be seen here on the West Coast following football, and in the Detroit area, highlights later this evening of U.S. Open tennis.
San Diego 10, Seattle 3 in the second quarter.
1st and 10 on the Ram 31. Billy Waddy goes wide right. Preston Denard left. Both backs release. And Hayden all alone. Preston Denard is dragged down on the Detroit 45-yard line. Jimmy Allen, the UCLA man, making the hit.
Well, great pass protection by the Rams offensive line. Pat has all day to throw that ball. Somebody's going to be open. That one play could indicate what this game is going to come to. If Detroit can't put more pressure on Hayden than that, their secondary's in trouble.
So there's a lot of heat on Purifoy, Woodcock, Mendenhall, and Gay to try and get in there. In motion is Billy Waddy. Here goes Elvis Peacock. Inside, across the 40 to the 35, and then pulled down by James Hunter. Doug France putting on a good lick that time. as he pulled and he rode Bill Gay right out of the play. And on the sidelines, Billy Sims no doubt thinking, yep, that's the way to get it done.
Everything in this drive has been on a quick count. Going on sound or maybe the first number. Pat likes that and does a good job on it.
That moves it to the Detroit 36-yard line. So 2nd and 1 for the Rams. In motion is Denard. And Hayden lobbing deep for Waddy. And it is what? A flag on the play. The ball was grabbed at the last minute by Walt Williams. And let's see the interpretation.
Offense.
Pushing off. And it might be offensive pass interference.
The Rams kept seven men in the block on that to give them protection.
7 defense, first down.
So it's going to be against Walt Williams. So it's defensive interference as they were both battling for the ball.
Could have been. Here it is again.
Yeah, the left hand of Waddy.
Hard to see.
So Williams makes the catch. There you can see a little pushing and shoving on both sides. And it goes against the defense.
Very close call.
So that puts it to the 3. 1st and goal. And Monty Clark now showing a little strain as the big play goes against Detroit. Play action fake to Bryant. Hayden under a little rush from Fantetti. They're going to rule that Nelson caught the ball, but he did not break the plane of the goal line. You can take another look. Nelson thought it did.
This is a good call. Play action across the grain, coming underneath. Now he's well covered. They're prepared for that play, but Pat just gunned it right in there. The ball was not across.
You can take another look now. From the goal line camera, you will see that the plane of the goal line has not been broken. There's the ball out in front. And so the Rams will have it 2nd down, and they're 1 yard away from pay dirt. Hayden to Bryant, head bumping, and he's in there. He hit Eddie Cole head on. That had a register on a seismograph. Eddie Cole, number 50, hit Cullen Bryant. You could hear those helmets pop around the stadium.
Well, they gave the ball to the right guy, Cullen Bryant. When you need a yard, you give it to your big, strong back and send him straight ahead.
6'1", 236-pounder. You might remember he scored a touchdown against Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. But the key play, 33-yard pass interference, charged against Walt Williams. So now it is 12-10 Rams, and Corral trying to make it 13-10. The spot will be by Cromwell in the dirt. He got it up anyway. A flag on the play. The indication is the kick is good. So let's wait and see.
Bad snap there. Low snap.
Doug France seems a little bit hot about things.
Point is good. Defense outside. Penalty enforced on the kickoff.
It looked like Doug France and Stan White were having a few words, but words give way to numbers. Rams 13, Detroit 10. 9:45 left in the half, 13-10 Rams, and it'll be Frank Corral kicking deep to Kane and Callicutt as they stand on the Detroit goal line. Corral drills it down the middle, and it is Callicutt backing into the end zone, takes it out to the 10. Kane falls down. Callicutt fumble, recovered by Ivory Sully of the Rams.
You know what caused that? His own man,
Kane.
Kane fell down.
Right.
And watch this, slips on the infield. That throws his timing off. Now watch 32 fall. Almost trips him up.
Not a bad strip by Mike Gooman, the rookie, number 44, and Ivory Sully falls on the ball.
He wasn't carrying that football too well either.
The biggest single play before this fumble was the interference call in the end zone, but the Rams now have it 1st and 10 on the Detroit 17. Elvis Peacock wide open as he busts down to about the 10-yard line. Let's take a look at the 33-yard pass interference play. Take a look. That's Walt Williams down there in the end zone.
Oh,
number 21.
You know, it's hard to see the foul there. Very close call.
Billy Waddy battling with him. Williams apparently intercepted, but instead of having it 1st and 10 on their 20, the Lions had to dig in. It was 1st and goal on the 3 for the Rams, and they scored. Now on the fumble by Calicut, the Rams are ready to go in action again. Peacock is tripped up by Purifoy as he crossed the 10.
One of the rules of this game is don't beat yourself. Detroit's been playing pretty good ball. Lately now they're giving the lines.
That's Ivory Sully, coach, who picked up that loose ball.
Giving them field position here. This is a real test of the defense right here now, Ben.
So measuring for the 1st down, as you had that look at Ivory Sully, and the point of the ball is beyond, so it is 1st down and 1st and goal. The ball is spotted on the 7-yard line. Let's see what the Eagles are up to. Well, they've added 3 points on a 17-yard field goal by Tony Franklin. They lead 10-0.
Hicks is in there in place of Terry Nelson.
Well, 1st and goal on the 7-yard line. Hicks, the tight end on the left side. That's the way they go. Peacock trying to go wide. Kent Hill threw a block on James Hunter. And I'll tell you, James Hunter did a very good job because he took the block by Kent Hill and still made the tackle as the wide defensive ends, Freddie Dreyer and Jack Youngblood, look on.
2 good ones. They both can rush the passer.
So a good play by James Hunter. 5 years out of Grambling. Ball spotted on the 5-yard line, so it is 2nd and goal on the Detroit 5. This time the Rams go slot right with Denard inside Waddy. But it's Peacock going left again. And Hunter again stacking him up. Boy, accolades for James Hunter. That's 2 good plays in a row.
He's doing a heck of a job. He's using his hands and he's getting across.
Coach, a question.
Yeah.
Most teams are basically right-handed, yet they're going to the left side.
Well, sometimes you run against defensive personnel. If you got some light guys over there, you think they don't play the run as well, you'll run to that side.
James Hunter is 6'3", 195 pounds. As the Rams taking a breather, 76 Cody Jones, 37 Ivory Sully, 79 Mike Fanning. 3rd and 6, 3rd and goal from the 6. Hayden dropping straight back, looking over the right side, and making the reception is Waddy, but he came out of the end zone to do it. So Waddy was in the end zone and actually came back and stepped at the 1 when he went down.
He had to come back for the ball. He was not the primary receiver. Again, this is another example of Hayden having plenty of time to throw that football.
So 4th and goal on the 1. They are bringing in Walt Arnold, number 45, and Terry Nelson, number 83, as Waddy comes out. That means a little beef. They'll have 3 tight ends in there, Nelson, Hicks, and Arnold.
If they're in the I formation, watch for Peacock over the top.
The Rams huddling on the sidelines. Ray Malavasi talking to Pat Hayden directly below us. Pat Hayden, 2 years ago, set Ram records for most passes, most completions, most yardage. So he's been through the mill.
These type of decisions are tough ones either way. For the Lions, if they stop them, what a lift that is. The score is still 13-10. If the Rams make it, it's a great decision on their part.
They also serve who only stand and wait. Case in point, Vince Ferragamo, backing up Hayden.
Fine young quarterback. Has a great future.
So it is 4th and goal with 6 minutes 48 seconds to the half. The Rams leading, trying to open it up and capitalize on a kickoff fumble by Ken Calicut. Bryan and Peacock behind Hayden. Arnold on a wing outside Nelson. And it's Peacock over the middle.
That's what it was. I formation, Peacock over the top.
So Elvis Peacock who scored 29 touchdowns in Oklahoma and was the teammate of Billy Sims, goes flying through the air for the TD. He followed Franz, Bain, and Saul and took off.
Good sound running play. Good. Couldn't run a better play than that.
Peacock is another man coming back. He had knee surgery in '78. He had a broken ankle in '79, as you look at Cullen Bryant. So Peacock has returned with a TD. Now Corral is asked to make it 20-10 Rams. Nolan Cromwell, the snap, and the kick is good. Another look to balance the coin. We saw Sims touchdown. Let's take another look at a Peacock flying.
We call that play M hunch. M blocking, man for man blocking.
6:46 to the half. The Rams leading Detroit 20-10. Two key plays for the Rams. Ken Calicott fumbled the last kickoff when Rick Kane fell down in front of him, if you remember. This time the kickoff will go to Kane from 1 yard in. Hit at the 10, fumble. So if it isn't Calicott dropping one, now Kane drops one inside the 10. Eddie Cole might have recovered for the Lions. He did, number 50. So Eddie Cole saved the day, at least the moment.
Well, sometimes when you spin like that, the defense gets a good shot at the ball from the open side, and that's what happened.
So there's Eddie Cole, who made that clutch smother of the fumble 2 years out of Mississippi. So Danielson, 1st and 10. The ball is just shy at the 9-yard line. He's got a long way to go. Bussey and Sims are in their back of him. And it's Dexter Bussey. Flags on the play. Mike Fanning, number 79, moved. And I believe he will be guilty of the infraction. Mike Fanning. There he goes.
Again, that's caused by listening to the quarterback's cadence.
By the way, he's a local son from the state of Michigan. Mike Fanning is from Mount Clement, Michigan.
He did a tremendous job last year for the Rams. One of the things I like about him, he's a very studious young man, and again, he can rush the quarterback. Mike Fanning.
Encroachment.
To give you an idea of Gary Danielson as he comes back today, Danielson is 4 for 10 for 51 yards, no touchdowns. Billy Sims has carried 8 times for 40 yards. 2 big passes from Danielson to Freddie Scott.
390.
Second man is Billy Sims. He bumped into Cody Jones, and he kept on going to get out across the 25. That was a marvelous bit of the tenacity of Sims.
He was stopped. Now watch Sims. This shows his athletic ability. The hole's jammed. He spins away, keeps his legs going, still keeps his balance, makes the first down.
He hit Cody Jones, and Cody didn't know he was there, and he was gone.
This series, Ben, will show a little bit of the maturity of this Detroit team. They've had some things go against them. They got to forget about it and play football, block and tackle.
That was Doug Franz getting some oxygen, applying ice to the knee. Boy, he's paying a bill. Sims in motion. From the 26, Danielson under some heat by Fanning. Now by Jones, and he is hit by Johnny Johnson. So they put the squeeze on him and drop him at the 23. So they lose at least 3 on the play.
No, I'm sure Monty Clark doesn't want to see Danielson run, but that's something that he can do, and he does real well. And there are certain times when he has to stay alive and try to make a big play out of a broken play.
Monty Clark getting his plays from rooftop and then sending them in to Danielson. And the 20-10 lead up in the air with 5:13 left to go to the half. Billy Sims. Boy, I'll see you later.
Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, he ran around Nolan Cromwell. Leroy Irvin finally made the tackle, but if you keep your eye on 21, watch Cromwell trying to find Sims.
Again, a fast hitting play, a fast trap. Now watch Sims in the open field. Beautiful. That's three missed tacklers. See him spin. Look at him keep those knees going.
Great pursuit by Cromwell. You'll see him
Look at
bump
that.
with Pat Thomas. There's Cromwell turning once. Cromwell turns twice, and Cromwell got him high.
Beautiful.
So it is 1st and 10 on the Detroit 43. A marvelous run by Billy Sims. Bussey in motion. Dreyer almost offside. David Hicks. Hill fumbles, and it is recovered by the Rams. Mike Fanning. But there's a flag on the play, and it's on Fred Dreyer of the Rams, I'm sure.
That's right. Fred Dreyer's offside.
Fred Dreyer, number 89, moved before the snap, so unscramble the whole play.
It wasn't even close. We'll see it on the replay.
Offside defense.
You bet. 89, Fred Dreyer. There was no doubt about it.
Good. It was a good call. Yeah. He was a full count ahead of the snap.
Fanning fell on the ball, but it doesn't count, of course, because of the infraction by the veteran Fred Dreyer. So that moves the ball to the Detroit 47-yard line.
You know, Ben, I like what Danielson is doing.
Offside 89 defense. Still 1st down.
He's not trying to get it back in one play.
Well, he has 4 minutes and 10 seconds as Dreyer tries to make up for that big play that went in Detroit's favor. Billy Sims. Oh, he's marvelous. He gets to the 41-yard line of Detroit, the Rams, moving it from the Detroit 48.
You know, with a runner like that, we talked about how much better your offensive line likes to block, but also it encourages them to get downfield. Throw a block downfield. All this guy needs is a little help. He'll go all the way.
What's remarkable is you don't see people blocking for him. You just see Billy Sims against the world, and look at those numbers. He's averaging a little better than 7 yards a carry, which is what he did at Oklahoma. Both backs stay in the block. Danielson to the left side to Freddie Scott. He made the reception. Freddie Scott took a bump at about the 32-yard line.
This was an audible. He's in. He comes down with both feet in. Tap, tap.
He's
well
about
executed.
a yard and a half shy of the 1st down. But it'll be a big 1st down play for Detroit and for Freddie Scott. For Scott, his 3rd reception. And he led the Lions with 62 last year.
And then they picked up the dog and got the yardage, which they hadn't done before.
2nd and 2 on the 32. In motion is Freddie Scott. He's picked up by Pat Thomas. Play action fake to Sims. High and caught by David Hill. Big catch, and he beat Johnny Johnson again.
Again, nice play action off of motion. Watch it. Good fake. Perfectly thrown. And boy, when Hill gets his hands on that ball, he puts it away. Detroit has an offensive coach named Bob Snelker who does a good job. He sets up some of this stuff. I like his thinking.
1st and 10 on the Ram 18 as Danielson now has his ball club on the prowl. Leonard Thompson goes left, Fred Scott right. 2nd man, Billy Sims bumped into his own man. Sims was jammed by Dexter Bussey and Homer Elias, and the reason he was jammed by them was a good job by Jack Reynolds, the middle linebacker for the Rams, but he did get the ball just shy of the 15.
He had no hole there at all. Reynolds is looking to the sidelines to get the defense from Coach Torgerson.
You know, last year when they graded the films, Jack Reynolds missed 1 tackle the entire season.
He's that type of an athlete.
2nd and 7 on the 15.
277.
He's going to Freddie Scott. No good. Covered by Pat Thomas.
Well, that was an audible again.
And we're coming to the 2-minute warning now.
Called an audible. It's a step and go, as we call it, to Freddie Scott. He's well covered by Pat Thomas.
So two things are apparent. The Lions can move the ball, and they're very much in the game. With 1 minute and 58 seconds to the half, the Lions have moved the ball where they have a 3rd and 7 on the Ram 15. The Rams leading 20-10. And the Lions go slot right. Leonard Thompson and Freddie Scott in the slot. Bussey and Sims, the deep man, out of the eye. Danielson looping to Hill. No good. And he had Leroy Irvin on him that time, the rookie out of Kansas, on the big tight end, David Hill.
Well, he had the right situation. You want to throw it to single coverage, one-on-one, and that's what he had.
There was a flag dropped on that play, so let's wait a minute.
Fence.
Let's see if there might have been. It is against the Rams, moving into the 10-yard line. Here's the official call.
Illegal contact, 27. Defense, first down.
That's Pat Thomas.
Well, and
they said 27, but that's 47, Leroy Irvin. So it is 1st and goal on the 10-yard line for Detroit. And Billy Sims is eaten up. Nolan Cromwell and Cody Jones came out of nowhere to make a sandwich out of him that time. And Danielson saying, right. Good call.
Fast trap, again, quick hitter, which Sims runs so well. The Rams dogged and guessed perfectly. San Diego 24, Seattle 3.
Reminds us the NFL today with all the scores and highlights. Stay with us at halftime. We have 1:24 left to the half. 2nd and 11 now. Mike Fanning was moving around, but I think he got back, and they swallow up Dexter Bussey. Reggie Doss, number 71 at the bottom. Fanning was doing a little bit of jitterbugging, and the crowd thought he might have broken across, but he held back.
Yeah, he got back in time.
To repeat, Mike is from Mount Clemens, Michigan. He knows this telecast is going back home, so he's got some extra adrenaline pumping. With 48 seconds and time running. No timeouts used.
They still got plenty of time.
43 seconds. Now they're going to call it.
Now they're taking it.
And they wasted a good 8 to 10 seconds before calling time, did Detroit.
If you're going to call timeout, you call it right away.
This has been a very quick first half.
It has.
Danielson is acting like maybe he tried to call it earlier and it wasn't heard. He seems annoyed about it.
Well, when you're sending in plays, you always have that chance of hesitation as to are they sending in a play or just what? And you're looking for the defense. Is the defense going to be in the nickel down here in the 10, 11-yard line? You don't like to run the nickel in that situation.
With 42 seconds to the half, the Rams leading Detroit 20-10. For Gary Danielson, a great return. A kid who played in the World Football League back in 1974. The Lions signed him as a free agent in 1976. He was working on the assembly line, which is appropriate. He hurt his right knee in the preseason last year against Baltimore. But in '78, he had 6 wins in the last 9 games. And he had a particularly big game. He threw 5 touchdowns in one game. So Gary Danielson is a great offensive weapon. And now he wants the headset, so he's cut out the middleman.
He's talking to Bob Snelker that I mentioned earlier up here in the press box. Snelker's telling him what to anticipate on defense and what he thinks is the best play right here. A play that used to bother us a lot here was a delayed pattern where the wide receivers start downfield and then come underneath and the backs clear out.
Without picking, which of course is guilty.
Yes.
From the 12-yard line, the Lions put it in play. 3rd down, and they have to go all the way. Down the middle, no good. It was intended for the rookie, Mike Freedy.
And I think the Rams are offside.
Well, let's see. There's a flag on the play. Mike Freedy out of Indiana.
It looks like Jack Youngblood, or the defensive left end.
Offside defense.
He didn't give the number.
So the Lions, although a few seconds tick away, have 37 seconds left. Watch this, intended for Freedy. Throwing it right at you.
You really can't make a mistake when they're giving you the ball like that. Now, this is twice. They've given them another shot here.
Defense, third down.
So it is third down, and that moves the ball to the Rams' 7-yard line. So third and goal from the 7. Actually, it is not third and goal. It would appear as if they have to get to about 6 inches from the goal line for a first down. So let's make it 3rd and 7. Freddie Scott wide right. David Hill, the tight end, is on the right side, and Leonard Thompson goes left. And it's Dexter Bussey, and he got down to the 1-yard line.
Good call.
Not enough for a first down. He would have inches for a first down as he barreled inside the 2.
27 seconds.
Mike Fanning slithered down the legs, and Nolan Cromwell came over to help on the tackle.
They're going to have to measure.
It is very close. Remember, it's not a goal situation.
That was a good call, Ben, against the nickel defense. You're playing pass all the way, almost broke it for a score.
Philadelphia eating up Denver now in the second quarter. Ron Jaworski just completed a 15-yard pass for a touchdown. Philadelphia 17 and Denver nothing early in the second quarter. Well, they didn't make it.
No, here's the decision that Monty Clark has to make. You go for the first down and a possible touchdown, or to kick a field goal. I think in this situation you got to go for the touchdown.
You have 27 seconds, so they could conceivably get the first down without scoring, and then have first and goal from the 2-inch line. So the lighter ones come out, and the big boys coming in now on a goal line stand.
They got their jumbo people in there. The best play against this is over the top, lead blocking, that M. Hunch play we talked about earlier.
And among those in there is big Larry Brooks, number 90, who was one of the players to take a walk from camp. And Danielson now stands up as the crowd gets on him. And Danielson saying, I can't hear if they're going to do that.
Now, I'll tell you what happens when you do that, Ben. The crowd wants to yell more.
Oh, sure.
It doesn't quiet them. They'll do that every time.
All right, then how do you beat that? You know the crowd's going to make more noise. You have to call a play in the huddle, and what?
Well, you just wait until it's the way you want it, and the official has the right to quiet the crowd or penalize the home team. Now, I've never seen him penalize the home team.
No, that would be a great way to start the year in the Rams' new home in Anaheim.
Or go on the first sound. Boom.
All right, so it is 4th and inches for a first down, 4th and 1 yard for a touchdown. We have 27 seconds to the half. Bussey and Sims behind Danielson. Billy Sims going wide. He's got a touchdown. His second of the day.
Well, everybody had an inside charge.
Russ Bollinger, number 73, 4 years out of Long Beach State, threw a key block for him. There goes Bollinger pulling, and he stacked him up right there.
Everybody's in the gap. Sims faked in and went out wide the same way he scored on the other play. Instead of taking it up inside, turned it outside.
Boy, we got a whale of a ball game here.
We have, because Detroit's defense has had a lot of kind of scatter plays against them.
Sure, a fumble on a kickoff, and then you had the pass interference play, plus that 98-yard kickoff return. All right, Eddie Murray trying to make it 20-17. He kicks it up and through, and the Lions are back to within 3 with 24 seconds to the half. The Rams 20 and Detroit 17.
High snap on that extra point.
Boy, what a leg that Eddie Murray has.
Yes, he has. Oh, he's a tremendous find.
You were telling me, who was it who marveled at Eddie Murray, a former NFL kicker or punter?
Punter, well.
Was it Larry Seipel or someone who said he really was impressive?
Right. Well, I think what interests me is that the Saints have had problems with their kicking game. And here's a guy in their backyard, and Detroit picked him up for a 7th-round selection.
So a fired-up Lion team now. weathering the Rams, and a noisy crowd here in Anaheim. Almost 69,000 enjoying warm weather, although slightly overcast. And the Lions will be kicking off 24 seconds to the half. Eddie Murray talking to the young Lions. Eddie is 23 years old, 5'10", 170 pounder. And he has already been extremely prominent in this one.
Let's see if he kicks it all the way down there, or he tries a squib kick.
With 24 seconds left, going deep for the Rams, you have Gooman, Drew Hill, Ivory Sully. Up front, you have Pankey. So they're stacking the middle. And Eddie Murray will squib it on the ground. It'll be picked up by Gooman at the 21. And Gooman across the 30 takes a lick, and down he goes. The clock shows 19 seconds to the half, and the Rams will put it in play on their own 32. There, the Ram mascot, of course. Rather appropriate.
Well, we'll get a chance to see Pat Hayden in his 2-minute drill. He's one of the best.
They'll spot the ball just shy of the Ram 33, so that's where Hayden and company will put it in play. 1st and 10. The Rams leading 20-17. They go slot left. Waddy is inside Miller. Drew Hill is wide right. Peacock stays in to block, and Hayden throws to Bryant. And he is knocked out by Luther Bradley. And he got across the 40 to the 41. That would be a pickup of 8.
Well, Detroit stopped the pass downfield and gave him the pass in a flat to Bryant, which is the way you want to play it. Use up the clock and don't give him anything downfield.
The clock shows 13 seconds, 2nd and 2 on the Ram 41.
And they're just rushing with 4 men.
20-17 Rams. Great opening game. Billy Sims has scored twice. Peacock has scored. Drew Hill a 98-yard kickoff. Hayden rolling right and winding up, throwing deep. And Jimmy Allen will make the interception as he is driven into the end zone.
And Pat Hayden was really hit when he threw that ball. Look at him. He's getting up slowly.
So Pat Hayden taking a lick, and Jimmy Allen making the interception in the end zone. Let's see who lowers the boom on Hayden, if we can. Bill Gay. And Bill Gay almost knocked him back to the campus at SC.
Got him from the blind side. Forced him to overthrow it.
Well, you wouldn't call that an alumni meeting, no matter how you look at it. Yet they both are Trojans. But what a lick by Bill Gay on Pat Hayden. So the Lions with 2 seconds to the half.
That means an awful lot. The first series on offense, the first series on defense, the second half.
They are spotting the ball just shy of the 35, so he got even more. It was a 30-yard return. Freddie Scott will go wide right. Leonard Thompson left. Bussey and Sims are in there behind Danielson. Dexter Bussey. And it's Bussey who's across the 45. Midfield to the 45 and rolls to the Ram 43 before Rod Perry finally sits on him.
Well, what happened, you don't see it from the beginning. They actually ended up running a fast trap again. The Rams shifted from an odd defense to an even. They ran a fast trap. Bussey. In fact, all of Detroit's backs are hard running backs.
Dexter Bussey, 7 years out of Texas Arlington. There's Johnny Johnson, the rookie safety man. And on the sideline, Jeff Delaney waiting for a chance to perhaps replace Johnson. Billy Sims stacked up. Freddie Dreyer hit him, and so did Joe Harris, though he didn't stand a chance at the 45-yard line. That means 15 carries for Billy Sims, 82 yards. Elvis Peacock, resting, carries 13 times for 44 yards. Baltimore leading the Jets 14-0 in the third quarter. So this is 2nd and 10. The ball on the Ram 45. Rams leading 20-17. Scott left, Leonard Thompson right. David Hill in motion. Danielson with time, and he's got his man inside the 30-yard line. Leonard Thompson is finally dropped at the 26-yard line by Nolan Cromwell.
Here it is. Here's Leonard Thompson, 39, running what we call a strike pattern. A tight end in the flat, comes down, breaks it off. Good timing. Right on the numbers.
That's Cromwell and Thomas finally wrapping him up, but they drop him at the 26.
It's a first down pass.
19-yard pickup.
Good call.
Mike Reedy wide right, and here comes Billy Sims. And there goes Billy Sims to the 15-yard line. He got his first down as they knocked him out of bounds at the 14.
Isn't he beautiful in the open field?
Dexter Bussey this time helping Billy Sims, throwing a good block. So one complimenting the other.
Here it is. Sweep to the bottom of the screen. Watch Sims make a move in and then come out. Now watch him give a leg and take it away here. Right here.
Perry missed him.
Getting the fresh air.
And Cromwell knocks him out of bounds.
That's the best tackler on him, the sideline.
Yeah, right. 1st and 10 on the Ram 14. Leonard Thompson with Freddie Scott in the slot. Scott in motion. Picked up by Perry. Billy Sims again. And that time Johnny Johnson met him head on and dropped him, and then Jack Reynolds came over to make sure. There was a big hit by Johnny Johnson. So 2 millionaires on that play. Sims and Johnson.
A lot of money there.
Hit him with your money belt.
You know, there aren't many backs make 100 yards against this Ram defense.
You know, it's the first time in 10 years that the Lions used a first draft choice to pick a running back. 10 years ago, they went to Oklahoma and got Steve Owens.
Another good one.
2nd and 6 on the Ram 10. Sims in motion. Dexter Bussey got down to about the 7-yard line. Cody Jones, Jim Youngblood, there's a flag on the play, and Jack Reynolds also in on the tackle. In this quarter, illegal motion against Detroit. To give you an idea, on 4 first-down plays, George, Detroit picked up 20 yards, 19 yards, 12 yards, and 4 yards.
Boy, you're on offense. You know, I think Sims was in motion on the play. I believe they called it on him. He didn't give the number. You can't make mistakes down in here. Every yard is vital.
Well, that moves it out to the 16-yard line.
Illegal motion, number 20, offense, 2nd down.
That's who it was.
Billy Sims.
See, he went in motion and got a little careless at the end of the motion and was going forward.
So they spot the ball just shy of the 15, almost the 16-yard line, and it is 2nd and 11. Leonard Thompson and Freddie Scott go slot right. David Hill, the tight end, is on the left side. Now Sims comes out. Dexter Bussey and Rick Kane are the running back. Kane, number 32, as Bussey comes up. Danielson throwing to Scott with Rod Perry there with him. No good.
Well, there's the Rams telling them they're going to dog, forcing the Detroit to keep their backs in to block, forcing Danielson to call an audible.
They're going to keep Billy Sims out another play to let him catch his breath, so Rick Kane stays in.
You know, when he's in there, whether you use him or not, you have to defense him.
There you can see Sims bent over. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just been working hard. 17 carries for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's time to take a breather. But it is 3rd and 11 on the Rams 16. Kane and Bussey behind Danielson. Under some heat from Cody Jones, and Cody Jones drops him at the 22. Meanwhile, Dorney and Jack Youngblood have a few words, and they have to break them up.
Well, the Rams did something smart. They faked the dog. They've been dogging in that situation. They faked the dog, They ran a stunt.
Now that's Eric Hipple, and of course he's the holder, the rookie out of Utah State. He was quite a quarterback.
Let's see this snap from center now.
So Hipple will be the holder. Tanur, a rookie, is the snapper, and Eddie Murray The kicker, an all-rookie trio to see if it works. The spot at the 29, a 39-yard field goal attempt is good.
Right through.
And the Lions have caught the Rams, and Eddie Murray welcome to the National Football League.
Little high snap, too. He's beautiful. He has so much confidence in himself. You can just see it. Perfect.
20-20 with 11:33 to go in the third quarter. A 32-yard field goal by Eddie Murray. So the Lions have caught the Rams. High but somewhat short kick to the 5-yard line, and Drew Hill will start it there. Eddie Lewis had him by the arm, and there's a flag, and Lewis is going to be penalized for face mask. Eddie Lewis, number 48, out of Kansas, who was with Monty Clark in San Francisco. Let's see if we can see the face mask.
Well, he reached in to get the arm, and he also got part of the face mask. There it is right there with his...
There it is.
With his left arm.
So Eddie Lewis making the tackle, the All-American sprinter out of Kansas.
That hurts after that fine kick. 4.3 hang time on a kickoff. Outstanding.
20-20. That's the Rams and the Lions in the early going. 11:24 the third.
Personal foul, face mask, 48. On the returns, a first down.
That's Lewis.
So they bring it out to the 33-yard line where the Rams put it in play. Eddie Lewis still hot about it. And Hayden out of the eye, flipping back to Elvis Peacock, who goes inside France and gets across the 40 out to about the 43-yard line. Boy, Doug France opened up a huge hole, and he just went right by his back.
Now, Detroit scored the first time they had the ball on offense in the second half. Now the pressure is on Hayden and the offense.
There you can see 7 plays going 44 yards, and then the field goal by Eddie Murray. So we have 2nd and 1 on the Ram 42. Second man, Elvis Peacock. He has the first down, and he gets out to about the 48-yard line. Charlie Weaver, among others, finally bumping him down.
Detroit stayed in the same defense that they used the first half, and that time Peacock came back and cut against the grain and picked up the first down.
So that moves it out to the 48-yard line. Pickup of 6. Sunshine burning off the early morning overcast. Beautiful day. Waddy and Denard go slot right. Terry Nelson, the tight end, on the left side. Elvis Peacock again going inside Jackie Slater and got across midfield. Mendenhall was the first man to hit him. Stan White and Bradley.
You know what we have here, Ben? We have 2 Oklahoma backs trying to outplay each other. Peacock is the big man in their running game, and Sims has been the big man in Detroit's running game.
And, of course, teammates at Oklahoma. Peacock had a great career. He scored 29 touchdowns, but Billy Sims scored 50. So Elvis has a little something extra going head-to-head. 2nd and 6 on the Detroit 48. The pass broken up, almost intercepted by Jimmy Allen, intended for Cullen Bryant. If Allen picks that off, he can run all the way to Westwood and visit UCLA. There wasn't anybody near him.
Gay had a good rush on Pat Hayden. Hit him just as he threw the ball, a delivery sack.
It was Bill Gay, you remember, who almost knocked Hayden out of his uniform in the late moments of the first half.
At the end of the half. He beat Doug France to the inside, I believe, in that one.
So 3rd and 6 on the Detroit 48-yard line. Denard goes left. Waddy goes right. And it's Peacock and Bryant. They're the workhorses. They've stayed in there all game. And Hayden going to the right side. Got his man as Bradley rides him out of bounds inside the 40. And it's a first down. So the tight end, Terry Nelson, makes the reception, and Bradley brings him out.
One of the things we talked about was Detroit's 4-man rush against the Rams' pass protection. They're giving Hayden good protection, and he's hitting the open man.
So first the mask infraction against Eddie Lewis. That put it on the Ram 33. Now they've moved it to the Detroit 39. And Hayden with 72 yards under his belt has it 1st and 10. Play action fake. The pass to Cullen Bryant. And then the flag of Lyons bring him down. Not down, but to a stop.
You know, Ben, it's beautiful to watch White out there manipulate on defense. He calls most every audible, changes the coverage, shifts the line. He's like an assistant coach on the field.
You know, he graduated magna cum laude from the Baltimore Law School, so he's got quite a head on his shoulder.
That's the type of linebacker I've always liked to have in my team. Maxie Vaughn was that type of a football player.
2nd and 6 on the Detroit 36. Oh, a busted play. Woodcock and Fantetti both hollering, and Fantetti bumps Hayden. He's mad at him.
That's what happens when you try to go unsound, Ben. Everybody doesn't get it.
Ken Fantetti, who is known by Monty Clark as a deluxe hitter, was so angry that he just came up and shouldered Hayden long after the play.
A good middle linebacker will get about 10, 12 tackles a ball game, solo tackles.
Watch 57. Here he comes.
False start, entire line moving before the snap.
Well,
Now, when he gets up, he's so hot at Hayden, look at him, that he's going to throw a shoulder at Pat when he got up.
Kent Hill was the first one offside there.
All right, 2nd and 11. The ball is back on the Detroit 40. Hayden faking once, still looking at Purifoy. Wrapped him up with Gay. He just waited too long.
The big thing was good coverage made that sack possible. And
They dropped him on the 42.
the acoustics in this stadium are a little bit difficult to relay audibles, so White is using hand signals. Yes, it may have taken him out of field goal range. Baltimore 14 and Jets 7 now in the 3rd quarter.
And as you can see, the Rams are batting .500 in 3rd down conversion. 3rd and 13 from the 42. Drew Hill wide left. Denard and Waddy go slot right. And Hayden to the left side. Double coverage on Drew Hill, and he can't handle it. Ray Oldham, along with James Hunter, putting the squeeze.
They had him front and back. That's another guy they picked up from the Colts. Ray Oldham can play free safety, strong safety. Smart football player.
8 years of experience out of Middle Tennessee State. So because of the sack on Hayden, the Lions have stiffened, and the Rams will have Frank Corral punt. Now look at those punting averages. He's got a magnificent leg. We've been talking about Eddie Murray. This fella can kick a hole in the ball.
And you know, Ben, I mentioned this earlier, he kicks a different type of ball because he hasn't been punting a lot. He sometimes kicks an end-over-end ball, which is difficult to handle.
The Lions do not have anybody back because they're expecting the sideline kick, and he arrowed it out, and let's see where they call it. At the 16-yard line. That's where they're going to spot it. So the Lions will put it in play. 1st and 10. There's Frank Corral out of Chihuahua, Mexico. He's quite a character out of UCLA. It's 2020. That's some eye chart. 8 minutes and 2 seconds left in the 3rd quarter, and we got a dandy here. A 20-20 tie. The Lions put it in play. 1st and 10 from their own 16. Freddie Scott wide right. Leonard Thompson left. The running backs are Dexter Busty and Billy Sims. He's back in there, deep man in the eye. Sims stumbles on the infield. However, he gets across the 20 to the 21. You know, in football, when you run to the undershift, they used to have the expression, run to the bubble.
Yeah.
Well, down here in Anaheim, if you're the offensive team at that part of the field, you run to the grass. That was Jack Faulkner's theory of the Rams, and that's exactly what you have down there.
Well,
everybody's stumbling on the infield.
That infield, unless you practice on it, is a disadvantage.
Baltimore leading the Jets 14-7. We have a 2nd and 5 on the Detroit 21. In motion is the tight end, David Hill. Play action fake to Billy Sims. Danielson throwing to Scott, and he took a lick. Pat Thomas jolted the ball out of him. No possession. Boy, Freddie Scott paid for that.
Right. That's a picture play by Pat Thomas. It's one of the reasons that I think he's an all-pro. This is a completed pass. But now watch. Well thrown. He has the ball. Now watch Pat Thomas come up and jar it loose right here. Now watch.
By the way, Freddie Scott is 3 inches taller, but actually Pat Thomas weighs 2 pounds more.
Freddie Scott didn't put the ball away quickly enough.
So it's a 3rd down play from the 21. Lions go slot left. Scott inside Thompson. Billy Sims goes out, and they throw it to Sims, and he gets away from Johnny Johnson. He's to the 45, midfield, to the 40, chased by Nolan Cromwell, and Cromwell slugs it out of bounds at the 18-yard line. The first pass of the day to Billy Sims, and he goes from the Lion 21 to the Ram 18.
The Rams dogged on this, so it's one-on-one coverage. It's an underneath angle pattern. Missed tackle by Johnson, 20. Now, Cromwell is just as fast as Sims. There aren't many people going to outrun Nolan Cromwell.
So that stuns everybody. A 60-yard pass play. Take another look at it. Irvin charging, but there goes Sims off to the races. David Hill is out in front to block for him. That's Johnny Johnson, and here comes Cromwell, and the great athlete finally brings him down. From the 18-yard line, it's Dexter Bussey trying to follow Keith Dorney's block, and Bussey gets across the 15. Keith Dorney threw a good one.
One other thing that Nolan Cromwell did, he tackled him sure. Don't try to make a picture tackle in open field on a guy like Billy Sims. Bring him down any way you can, but bring him down, and that's what he did.
So a pickup of 4, that makes it 2nd and 6 on the Ram 15. In back, just catching his breath. Billy Sims getting a breather. Rick Kane is in there, number 32, along with Dexter Bussey. Danielson to Bussey, and here goes Bussey. Touchdown, Dexter Bussey.
Well, Detroit is what I said at halftime. It surprised me that they can run on the Rams like they have.
You know, Dexter Bussey is 500 yards from Nick Petrosanti's all-time running record. He's had 4 100-yard games, but they've forgotten about him with all the headlines for Billy Sims, and well-deserved. But they have another very good football player in number 24, Dexter Bussey, 7 years out of Texas, Arlington. 26-20 Detroit. Eddie Murray trying to make it 27. The hold by Eric Hipple. The snap, the hold, and the kick. Good as money.
Well, you know, all of Detroit's backs, Forrest King, Rick King, Dexter Bussey, Bull Robinson are quite similar. They're hard runners. Sims gives them the extra dimension.
A 15-yard scoring burst by Dexter Bussey. The point by Murray is good. It is 27-20 Detroit, and they have rushed for 201 yards against a proud Ram defense. There's Murray's kick, short and low, and it will go out of bounds, so he'll have to kick off from the 30. George, that is a lot of yardage rushing against the Rams.
Then I can't remember anybody making that much yardage rushing against the Rams, and there's still plenty of time to play. It's still the 3rd quarter.
And, of course, the rushing, as we look at Billy Sims, the rushing set up that 60-yard pass to Billy Sims. And so when the rush is good, the pass becomes more effective. Conversely, what about the defense?
When you have to stop the run in pro football first over the pass, you're really on defense. You're truly on defense. Detroit has shown some maturity. Remember we mentioned earlier they didn't let some of these bad breaks go against them. Now the pressure is on the Ram offense. They really haven't generated much today. On the 20 points they have.
98 yards on a kickoff. There was a pass interference.
Pass interference.
Yep.
And a fumble recovery.
So Eddie Murray and the Lions penalize 5 on the out-of-bounds kick, so he'll tee it up at the 30. For the Rams, they have Drew Hill, who busted one for 98, along with Mike Gluman and Ivory Sully. And a false start.
The ball blew off.
The ball going off the tee, so they'll have to set it back up again.
I always hated when we got a 5-yard penalty and had to kick over it, because many times you give that offense, return team, a chance to bring one down your throat. That 5 yards means so much.
So Eddie Murray kicks it up the middle, and it'll be Drew Hill from the 11-yard line. to the 25. Grab from behind, and down he goes. Jimmy Allen. Again, number 40, the kid from UCLA, was the one to grab him from behind.
And that's another good trade the Lions made, bringing in Jimmy Allen. He's all over the place.
Gary Danielson on the sidelines talking to Freddie Scott.
Here are the Boo Birds, Ben.
Yeah, the Wolves are out on the Rams' first game for keeps in Anaheim. Sometimes nothing ever changes. From the Ram 28. First and 10. Bryant and Peacock, and it's Peacock in motion. Hayden to Bryant. And Woodcock falls down, but Mendenhall got him from behind.
Now that's a good call by Pat. They want to get the passing game going a little bit, so they start off with a screen.
There's Dexter Bussey, who just went 15 yards for a touchdown to give the Lions a lead, and he's been busy. Look at that, 6 for 53.
Good, hard running back.
2nd and 5 on the 33. Denard and Waddy go slot left. Here comes Peacock. He was spun around by Woodcock. That slowed him up, so the hole closed by the time he got to the line. Woodcock was battling Doug Smith, and Peacock got to the 35.
You know, the Rams have used these two backs the entire ball game for the most part. I can't recall a substitution in there.
Well, Monty Clark, remember, saying before the ball game, George, his team wasn't a 2-14 team, and the Rams are finding out about it. They can't rest Peacock and Bryant. They need them both. On a roll, here comes Hayden, and down he goes. Bradley and Fantetti, Weaver and Woodcock all around him.
He didn't make it.
I don't think he made the first down either.
Fantetti filled real nicely on that. He showed me some good lateral movement.
Oakland leading Kansas City 14-7 on a Mark Van Egan touchdown from 1 yard out in the third quarter. I love that description Monty Clark has of Fantetti, though. A deluxe hitter. So here's Corral, 4th and 1. John Arnold is deep at the 20-yard line. And Corral arrows it, and down he goes. Arnold making the reception at the 11. To the 20, 25. Spun around by Gerald Thomas, and down he goes.
Well, he was blocked into the kicker. There's no penalty on that.
No flag.
He was blocked into the kicker. Now watch this. And the referee made the right call.
That was Doug Smith who blocked him into the kicker. So it is 27-20 Detroit. 3:56 in the third. 3 minutes and 56 seconds left in the third quarter. Detroit 27 and the Rams 20. And it's 1st and 10 on the Detroit 30-yard line. Bussey and Sims are the running back. Dexter Bussey dragged down by Joe Harris as he crossed the 30. Pat Thomas also there.
You know, it's interesting, Ben. Detroit's success running the ball. The Rams started out using an even defense, was a little bit better to rush the passer. Now the Rams, in the last few series, have been in an odd defense, which is better against the run. So they really respect that running game.
200 yards will do it to you every time, won't it?
Sure will.
2nd and 7 on the 33 for the Lions. Slot left. Freedy with Scott in the slot. And here goes Billy Sims. Grabbed down by Mike Fanning, who caught him from behind. So Mike Fanning, number 79, finally catching Sims, who has carried for 103 yards in his big league debut.
Well, that's tremendous. Good Ram defense at the point of attack. Philadelphia 20, Denver 3 in the third quarter.
Billy Sims going out. Rick Kane will give him a breather. Sims, the 6th Heisman Trophy winner to play for Detroit. Boy, some illustrious names have won that award and played in the Motor City. 3rd and 8 for Danielson on his 32-yard line. he lobbed it perfectly to Horace King, and Horace King gets out to the 48-yard line. That's the first time we've seen him today.
Right.
6 years out of Georgia.
He's another. Now here it is. It's a one-on-one. Horace King and Bob Brzezinski. King made a move and went by Bob. I mentioned earlier, these Detroit backs are all out of the same mold with the exception of Sims.
He's 5'10", 205-pounder. So he came in for one play and made it work. Went from the 33 to the 48. Meanwhile, Baltimore and the Jets are knotted at 14. But Detroit on the move. 1st and 10 on their own 48. They started on their 30. Scott in a slot right inside Leonard Thompson. And Kane on an end around to Leonard Thompson. He's almost hit by Reggie Doss. Still on his feet. Got by Fanning, and they finally knock him out of bounds at maybe a gain of a yard or two. So Leonard Thompson, after the end around had worked so well with Freddie Scott, he tried it off Rick Kane's handoff.
Well, we were talking up here that we'd probably see another reverse or a gadget by Detroit. And there it is. Nice job of running by Leonard Thompson.
So Leonard Thompson got it actually back to the line of scrimmage after all of that. It's 2nd and 10 on the 48. Scott goes right. Freedy is left. Sims is back in there with Bussey. Danielson on a screen to Sims. He stumbled and fell down, or he might have gone to the races.
He had big yardage, and you know, Ben, I was just saying, I wonder when Detroit's going to run a screen.
And there was the screen to Sims, and he had it all the way to Broadway.
See if we can see this.
Watch his trip.
This is what we call... Yeah, he signaled with his left hand behind his back. This is what we call a delayed screen to the halfback. And watch him try to cut right here. He had to block. Oh, he'd have been running yet.
He got a good block from Tom Tanure, the rookie out of Washington. It was almost a clip on Pat Thomas, but it was a legitimate block. So Danielson throws his first screen of the day, and it was a busted screen, and evidently a timeout now. In fact, check the clock, and that's the end of the third period. Okay. So time runs out, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Detroit 27 and the Rams 20 as we start the fourth quarter. The NFL on CBS in the first game for keeps ever played at Anaheim Stadium, and what an opener. On the opening kickoff, Drew Hill of the Rams ran 98 yards for a touchdown, but undaunted, the Lions have battled back to lead 27-20. Now on a busted screen, they have it 3rd and 6 on the Ram 48. Dexter Bussey has just about got the first down.
I tell you what, Ben, they're doing one heck of a job of exploiting the defense. Normally in that situation, you throw the ball. Again, they run the best type of play for their offensive back, a fast trap, and they get the first down.
They got it indeed to the Ram 41-yard line. Jack Youngblood, Cody Jones, Mike Fanning, and Reggie Doss are up front for the Rams, with Harris, Reynolds, and Brzezinski the linebackers. And the Lions have been tearing them to shreds. Over 200 yards rushing. And Billy Sims wide open. There he goes. Cromwell can't catch him.
That's that fat. Look at that sideline. Look at the whole gang's coming off the bench.
41 yards to see the magnificent Billy Sims go for his 3rd touchdown. Is he ever for real?
What a start. The only guy I've ever seen start a season like that is Gale Sayers.
Do you know what? He has now rushed for 144 yards.
There's a fast trap. He's running as fast as he got to the line of scrimmage as he is right now. Look at that leg action.
Incredible. Nolan Cromwell and Rod Perry chasing him, and they weren't in the chase.
Beautiful. Just beautiful.
145 yards rushing for Billy Sims. 3 touchdowns. Oklahoma spelled with a capital O. We'll take another look in a moment. It is 33-20 Detroit. The spot by Hipple, the kick by Murray. It's good.
Perfect.
Detroit 34.
Here it is.
The Rams 20.
The fast trap, which he runs so well. Nobody touched him. It was just a race between Cromwell and Sims. And Sims was in high gear on his first stride. Beautiful.
Well, we'll return to what's left of Anaheim Stadium after this word from your local station. With George Allen, 34-20 Detroit. One of the great performances in Lion history by Billy Sims. He has rushed for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. The kickoff, Ivory Sully takes it at the 20, wrapped up by Horace King at the 25, and down at the 26. Sims' combined yardage is 209 yards when you add his pass reception to his rushing. Back in 1977, Dexter Bussey ran for 150 yards. But Billy Sims, in his maiden voyage, has been everywhere. For Ray Malavasi, he kept telling his Rams that the 1980 Detroit model was a tough one, and it's sure a long way from a Model T. Hayden gonna be devoured by Purifoy. Purifoy just beat Jackie Slater and buried Hayden back on the 15-yard line.
He beat him to the punch. Pat didn't have a chance on that. Watch this. He got off on the ball. Purifoy got off on the ball. He's right in there.
Boy, the Lions are really fired up.
Well, they can play pass now. Every play, jet charge, pass. Don't worry about the run.
There is Gary Danielson, who piloted the Lions to 34 points, getting some hugs from teammates and members of the squad. On the other side, Vince Ferragamo, who lost the starting job because of a groin pull. He and third-string quarterback Jeff Rutledge just stand and shake their heads. Pitch back to Elvis Peacock. Charlie Weaver tripped him up, and there's a flag on the play. So Weaver tripped him up, and let's see, as Monty Clark.
A late flag.
Has to be a happy Monty Clark. Winners of only 2 games in 16 last year, and leading by 14 against a Super Bowl team.
This is an interesting stat. On that short kickoff by Eddie Murray, his hang time was still 3.9. That's how high he's kicking that ball.
Horace King was able to get down and grab the receiver almost immediately. So the Lions are on the prowl all over the field. And now the Lions are so fired up that the Rams are guilty of holding. That's Peacock with Bryant, but there is the hold just to the left.
Yeah. Well, the Lions are smelling the kill now.
Oh, I should say. And you know, George, to backtrack to the start of the game, you were saying that you wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Detroit upset the Rams and they have them by 14 points.
Well, they came in here to win. They didn't care about the odds or anything else or what took place. They've had a fine preseason. But I'll tell you one thing. Maxie Vaughn has done a great job.
Holy.
And meanwhile, the crowd is chanting, "We want Vince," meaning Ferragamo.
Strengthening and reorganizing this defense.
2nd and 26 on the Ram 10-yard line. There's Ferragamo, the kid who played in the Super Bowl when Hayden was out with a broken thumb. 2nd and 26 from the 10. Peacock and Bryant going all the way behind Pat Hayden. And Hayden hit by Woodcock and throws it on a bounce to Peacock. And the crowd gets on the quarterback again. But John Woodcock, who is 6'3" and 250, who was coming off back surgery last year, he was in there to harass Hayden.
Well, Pat has pressure on him. These last 2 or 3 plays, because he hasn't completed the pass or even gotten it off, isn't his fault.
Hayden is 10 for 19 for 81 yards. He does have 2 intercepted. And he's been sacked twice.
Nickel defense for Detroit.
3rd and 27 from the 9. And Hayden has a little daylight. And does he take a lick from Purifoy as Elias. He finally throws to his man at the 20-yard line, and Purifoy has driven Hayden to his knee.
Yes, he has.
Dave Purifoy, by the way, 6'2", 245-pounder. And watch him. You'll see him really level Hayden.
Detroit played this pretty smartly. He had good coverage. Pat rolls out. He wants to throw rather than run. And there's the whack that Ben was talking about. They gave him the yardage, but not the first down.
Preston Denard made the reception at the 25, and they'll have to give up the ball 4th and 11, and Frank Corral doing the punting. The Lions have Calicut and Arnold. And it will bounce around, and Arnold is going to let it bounce. Well, Moore was down there covering as the ball rolls inside the 25, and they'll spot it at about the 24.
That's an example of the type of kicking that Corral will do.
With 12:27 left in the game, Detroit 34, Los Angeles 20. A crowd of 64,892, and they see the Lions put it in play, 1st and 10 on their own 24. Kane and Bussey are the running backs. And it'll be Dexter Bussey, got away from Jack Reynolds. And finally, Nolan Cromwell and Johnny Johnson rush him out of bounds. And George, it brings up a point. One of the most important parts of the game of football is what you gain on 1st down. How are the Lions doing?
Exactly, Ben. We used to think if we averaged 4 yards a shot on 1st down, we were doing a heck of a job. Detroit has had 6 1st down plays this half and have averaged 17 yards per play. There's another big play on 1st down.
They brought it out to the 44-yard line, so they picked up 20. Just like that, another big 1st down for the Lions. Out of the eye with Kane, deep man back of Bussey. And Danielson on a broken play, grabbed by Brzezinski, and a penalty on it. Meanwhile, in the stands, with the Rams buried by 14 points, there's a gentleman checking box scores. Tomorrow, the rest of Southern California will be reading about what appears to be a monumental upset.
False start, moving before the snap. Right guard, offense. 1st down.
By the way, what makes it a monumental upset, you know, the Rams have lost only one opening game in 16 years. That's when Oakland beat them last year. Detroit has not won an opener since 1975, and Detroit hasn't beat the Rams since 1972. 1st and 10 on the 39 of Detroit. Rick Kane trying to get outside, tripped up by Johnson, and then Cromwell falls on him at the 45.
Detroit's offensive line and their tight end deserve a lot of credit the way they're hammering away. No matter who's in there in that backfield, they're still making yardage. Oakland 24, Kansas City 7 in the 4th quarter.
Chris Bear, a 41-yard field goal. So the NFL is on its way. Game 1 of the 1980 season, and boy, what an opener. 2nd and 9 for Detroit on the Lion 45. It's still Kane and Bussey. Scott is wide right. Brady is left, but they give the ball to Dexter Bussey, and he runs into a crowd of Rams. Reynolds, Johnson, Dawson, Harris.
They're doing a smart thing here. They're keeping the clock running the ball, not being too smart, not being anxious to put more points on it. Just know if you don't make a mistake.
The Ram singing its favorite song, It Had to Be You. 34-20 Detroit. 11 minutes left in the game, and the Lions again on the prowl at their own 48-yard line. They started on their 24. And Horace King is in there now with Rick Kane. And they will give it to Kane with Elias blocking for him. And he gets into Ram territory, and he might have the 1st down.
You know what the Rams did? The Rams dogged up the gut. They called a wide blow. The Lions ran an audible to the wide side, picked up the 1st down.
Homer Elias, number 61, from Tennessee State, a 3-year veteran, and we sure like to mention offensive linemen who are leading charges and throwing blocks, because otherwise they really go by unnoticed.
They sure do. They've done it. I guess they're measuring for it now.
Up front for the Lions, and they have really made the backs go. Keith Dorney, Russ Bollinger, Amos Fowler, Homer Elias, and Carl Baldishweiler. They have done a marvelous job, and there are inches to go on that first down. Skladany came on the field, and now they have called him off. So let's see. So Danielson is staying at the wheel. Skladany started to come on the field, and on a 4th and inches at the 47. How about this call, George?
I think it's a good call. They have the game under control. If they can pick up a first down and keep that clock running, they're putting pressure, a lot of pressure on that Ram offense.
So on the Ram 47-yard line, we're down to 10:34. So they've had the ball over 2 minutes.
And they have inches. Just, it might not even be 2 inches.
Well, the running backs are King and Kane. David Hill is a tight end on one side. Ulysses Norris is on the other. And Fred Scott is on the wing. 4th and inches. Long count, and the Rams won't come offside. And now Danielson said they won't fall for it, so we'll take the 5 yards, a delay of game, and now Skladany will come in and punt.
It's a good gamble. Every once in a while that'll work.
The Rams have too much experience up front, of course, but even an experienced club will be guilty once in a while.
That's right.
Trying to get a lick in. But Dreyer and Jones and Brooks, you're talking about 12 years for Dreyer, 8 years for Brooks, 10 years for Jack Youngblood, so they weren't about to go for it. So Tom Skladany will be punting. Leroy Irvin is standing on the Ram 10-yard line.
This 35 for Detroit, Wayne Smith, has been a find.
Fantetti and Calicut talking about who's going to pick up whom. You can see them pointing. I got him. I've got him. And Calicut continues to point along with Fantetti. Here come the Rams, but they get the punt away. Leroy Irvin lets it hit and go into the end zone, and the Rams will be in business. 1st and 10 on their own 20. Sitting just to the left of Vince Ferragamo is Dennis Harrah. Harrah was one of the 4 who left camp. 3 of them are in uniform, and he'll probably be suited up next week. But this week, they're down by 14. The Los Angeles Rams had the worst record of any Super Bowl team. They were 9-7 and still won in a weak conference. And they are on the edge of losing their first game of the year in an upset to Detroit. So if they're going to make a move, they had better start doing it. Hayden from his 20 has his man, and it is Drew Hill making the reception at the 40. Walt Williams made the tackle. So Drew Hill, who ran the kickoff 98, now handles a pass. We have 9:38 left.
It comes down now to pass rush and pass protection, and Detroit's still going with a 4-man rush. They'll probably have to mix in a dog in there once in a while to get a little more pressure.
1st and 10 on the Ram 40-yard line. Moore goes wide left. Gennard in a slot inside Drew Hill. So they have some speed burners. Harris has Hayden going deep, and it is broken up by James Hunter, intended for Moore.
I tell you, that's a beautiful defensive play by James Hunter. We were just talking about him. Watch this.
Jeff Moore, 1 year out of Tennessee, and he can fly, and watch Hunter.
He's beaten, and Hunter jumps in, knocks it away with his left hand, and doesn't get a penalty.
The Detroit players called James Hunter Hound Dog, and boy, he was a dog on that one. He wouldn't quit. James Hunter, 5 years out of Grambling. He had 26 interceptions in college, and he's had 18 in 4 years with Detroit. Here comes Colin Bryant, and down he goes. Purifoy got him from behind. So Dave Purifoy doing a good job.
Then we talked about this. This is a very active defensive team.
You said earlier, Maxie Vaughn, with one of the great acquisitions for Monty Clark. What is it about Maxie? What is the system that has improved Detroit so much?
Well, he's using a system that we used over the years.
In Washington and Los Angeles.
And Los Angeles. It's very simple, and it's a system where you don't let the offense dictate to you.
3rd and 7 on the Ram 43. The back stay in to block. Hayden deep to Drew Hill, and Walt Williams slings him out of bounds at the 41. But of course they pick up the first down.
Now that tells us something there a little bit. They got to get the first down. They're going over there on Walt Williams.
Who is Walt Williams? Well, he's a 4-year man out of New Mexico State. He was raised in the streets of New York. He's had shoulder problems. He had an operation, and they hope he is sound. As you look at Joe Harris, Jim Youngblood, and some of the other Rams on the sideline. 1st and 10 on the Detroit 41. Eddie Hill is now in there. And Hayden, a wobbly pass, intercepted by James Hunter. And Hunter brings it out to the 35. It was a wobbly, dying bird. Preston Denard came back to make the tackle.
Yeah, the ball was underthrown. Bell was underthrown. I think Pat Hayden hurt his hand or hurt his wrist.
And remember, the right hand, he had a broken finger on that right hand in the Seattle game last year.
Well, it looks like he hit the offensive man as he fouled through.
Yep, it was a wobbly ball. He throws it much better when he's sound. As Pat Hayden was ready to pass, Doug France is being pushed backwards by John Mendenhall.
And he hits Doug France right in the head, right in the helmet with his right hand. That's what did it.
So Hayden suffering a hand injury to add to all of his other woes.
I've seen that happen many a time, Ben, and you break a little bone in the hand.
So on the interception by James Hunter, Ferragamo is warming up, and it's 1st and 10 for Detroit on their own 35-yard line. Dexter Bussey out to the 40.
Well, Detroit's going to grind it out and keep that clock going. They're going to do what they've done well all day, run against this Ram defense.
During the exhibitions, Vince Ferragamo and Pat Hayden were alternating. And they were about even. If anything, maybe Ferragamo had a slight edge. And then Vince suffered a groin pull, and that ensured Hayden the last exhibition game, and he played super, so he got the start, and it hasn't been his day. 2nd and 5 on the Detroit 40. Billy Sims with 3 touchdowns today, over 200 yards, and this time he got away from Fred Dreyer. And he has still had a punishing hit by Jeff Delaney at the 40-yard line, but he left Fred Dreyer with nothing.
And Fred's a quick defensive end, a good athlete. An ordinary back would have been hit for a 5-yard loss on that. Here comes Eckern in, Reggie Doss in.
Six minutes and 33 seconds and counting. The Lions with a 3rd and 5 on the 40. Hayden with that bad right hand and ice applied. Fowler over the ball, and Danielson ready to go to the work. Sims and Bussey behind Gary. And Billy Sims got a couple. It is a knuckle on the index finger of the right hand. That's the injury suffered by Pat Hayden, and he will not be back. So the Ram fortunes with 6 minutes left will be in his hands. Vince Ferragamo. There's a flag on the play on that carry by Sims.
Looks like it's against the Rams.
Leonard Thompson coming into the huddle with a play from the sidelines. And we're waiting for the official explanation. Cal LaFleur going to the sidelines, and now we'll face it off against Los Angeles. 34-20 in favor of Detroit, in favor of a team that was shocked on the opening kickoff. A 98-yard touchdown run by Drew Hill.
85 and 51. Defense, first down.
Jack Youngblood, who wasn't in camp, along with Joe Harris. And Jack Youngblood, the second time that he's been guilty of being off time. There he is, the great defensive end. He had 16 sacks last year. 10 years out of Florida. 1st and 10 on the Lion 45. Dexter Bussey. And he is hit by Jack Reynolds, falls forward for a couple of yards, but it was Reynolds submarining him to stack up the play at the 49.
Detroit's primarily running inside, which is tough to do against this Ram defense. They're making it go by running from tackle to tackle.
You know, not only has Billy Sims rushed for 145, Dexter Bussey has run for 95. So that tells most of it. 5:39 left, 34-20 Detroit. 2nd and 6 on the 49 of the Lions. Sims back in there with Bussey. And they give it to Sims, and there he goes. Jeff Delaney finally went down with him. Delaney really didn't tackle him. He couldn't get rid of him because Sims hit him in the breadbasket.
Well, again, the fast trap for Sims hits the hole quickly, lowers the shoulder.
Look at that.
He's always going forward.
Billy Sims, a remarkable ball player.
155 yards.
He is the 6th Heisman Award winner. Sinkowitz, Walker, Hart, Cassidy, Owens, and Sims to play for Oklahoma. And my goodness, what a way to start.
4 minutes and 52 seconds left to play.
1st and 10 on the Ram 41. Dexter Bussey cutting back against the grain. Mike Fanning and Delaney along with Brzezinski finally bring him down, but he's across the 40 down to about the 38. He has to get to almost the 31 for a first down.
I can't recall two guys having a chance to get 100 yards against the Ram defense. Ben, I can't recall that at all.
That's right. They're going to have to go back to the books and do it. And for Detroit, boy, it looks like they have a winning model here. 34-20 Detroit. 2nd and 6 on the Ram 37 with 4 minutes left in the game. King is back in there with Kane, and Rick Kane spins to the 35. And the Lions now just holding on to the ball, eating up time, and they have the Rams pinned to the deck by 14 points. A Ram team that was favored by 7.5. A Ram team that almost upset Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl. And Monty Clark and the young Lions have sure started off on the right foot.
Well, they don't show any emotion right now. They came in here as if they expected to win the ball game. They'll show emotion later if they win, of course.
3rd and 4 on the Ram 35. Rick Kane almost fumbling. There's a flag on the play as he's dropped at the 32 by Jeff Delaney.
What I'm saying is they've shown a lot of confidence, haven't they?
They
a lot
sure have.
A lot of maturity, as you mentioned, getting blown out on a kickoff return, the opening play.
And the penalty evidently against the Rams.
Rams have had some costly...
No, we'll check now.
Costly penalties.
It was remarkable considering a 98-yard touchdown return. I'm not sure whether the Rams thought because of that it was going to be a breeze or whether that just fired up Detroit.
Offside, 51, defense, first down.
That's Joe Harris. Harris is another veteran of teams. He's been with Chicago, Washington, San Francisco, Minnesota, and Los Angeles.
We had him in Washington. He's a good man, an aggressive football player, good special team man. Sometimes when you're going to dog, when you're going to blitz, you line up too tight. Now watch him. He's right at the bottom of the screen. You can line up all sides.
1st and 10 on the Ram 30. This time it's Hart King. And King down to the 26. We have not seen Bo Robinson today. He figured to start, but he was banged up. So it's been Sims and Bussey, with Kane spelling Sims, and now King spelling Bussey once in a while. And the backs have really grounded out. 155 yards for Sims, 99 for Dexter Bussey. Bussey and Kane are in there on a 2nd and 6 on the Ram 26. Here goes Dexter Bussey. Nolan Cromwell missed him. Rod Perry finally gets him. He gets down to the 15-yard line, and that's over 100 yards for Dexter Bussey. So two backs, Sims and Bussey, have rushed for over 100.
You get a lot of missed tackles late in the ball game when a team pounds away and runs on you like this. Players are tired, and you get some arm tackling.
You know, for Monty Clark, he is the 15th coach in Lion history, and the third coach by the name of Clark. You have to go back to Potsy Clark and Dutch Clark, and now to Monty. And he would appear to have finally gotten the machinery working. And there's the 2-minute warning. Detroit 34 and Los Angeles 20. With 2 minutes left in the ball game, Detroit pounding the Rams now. They have it 1st and 10 on the Ram 15, and they're leading 34-20. Billy Sims has rushed for 155 and 3 touchdowns. Dexter Bussey 111 yards and 1 touchdown. And right now you have King and Kane in there behind Danielson. It'll be King. And he is grabbed by Brzezinski coming across along with Carl Eckern. 1:50 left.
Well, here's where you got to start thinking about using your timeouts on defense to try to get that ball back.
Last year, you know, Coach, the only 2 wins for Detroit were against Atlanta and Chicago. To start off the year and knocking off the Rams will really do a young team a favor.
Exactly, Ben. On the basis of the way they're playing today, they have a chance to win the Central Division.
2nd and 8 on the 12-yard line. Comes King. And there goes King. Nolan Clamwell brings him down right about at the 1st down marker. And if he picks it up, it'll be 1st and goal from inside the 5, depending upon where they put it.
But what often happens, Ben, you get a big victory like this, and the next week you're still celebrating it on Thursday and Friday, and you don't play like the same team the following Sunday.
And for Ray Malavasi, as we saw Ray looking out at the field, trying to win his 8th championship in the West, a bitter day, but perhaps he can use it to wake up the Rams, who might have been guilty of being lax as far as any adrenaline is concerned.
That's Laverne Torgerson calling the defenses in the red jacket.
So they are measuring to see if it is a 1st and goal situation, and that's what it is. 1st and goal from the 4. 34-20 Detroit. 4 yards away from punching over another. We have 51 seconds left and running. King and Kane. Leonard Thompson is on a wing. And they go to King wide. Boxed in by Eckern. He beat Eckern and went in for the touchdown. Brzezinski came over, and neither man could tackle him, and he just broke it and scored.
Again, we've talked about the hard running backs.
That's Eckern.
He lowered his shoulder.
That's Brzezinski.
Kept his legs going.
That's Reynolds.
Made the play.
That's a touchdown.
Up until that play, Ben, listen to this. Detroit had made 304 yards this second half compared to 96. That's how they dominated the second half of this ball game.
The Lions aren't even going to leave bones. It's 40-20 Detroit. Eddie Murray out of a hole by Eric Hipple. The snap, spot, kick. Good. Would you believe it? The Detroit Lions 41. The Los Angeles Rams 20. Mercifully, only 29 seconds left in the game. With 29 seconds left in the game, the Lions 41, the Rams 20. Eddie Murray kicking off from the Lion 35. Drew Hill standing on the goal line with Ivory Sully and Mike Gooman in front of him. And here we go at the last 29. Mike Gooman will take it on the 13 to the 25. And down he goes at the 25. For you good folks in the Detroit area, you will be seeing our premier 60-minute show immediately following football. For the good folks on the West Coast. Immediately after football, we'll be picking up United States Open tennis, and of course, you'll see 60 Minutes at its usual time. And the applause in the background. Vince Ferragamo comes in to pick up the pieces with 24 seconds left, and Pat Hayden out with a hand injury.
24-second drill now.
So from the Ram 26, they put it in play. 1st and 10. Eddie Hill in there, and the pass intended for Denard, and it stops the clock with 20 seconds. The executive producer of the NFL on CBS, Charles Milton III. Our producer, Terry Smith I. And our director, the inimitable Tony Vernon. This is Vin Scully along with George Allen, hoping to kick off the 1980 NFL season for you. And we show you the names and credits of all the other men who helped us get the show on and off the air. Ferragamo looking left, throws to Drew Hill. He'll take it out of bounds for a 1st down. And with 17 seconds left, the Rams inching their way downfield, but trailing by 21 points.
Well, Vince looks like he's all right. Doesn't look like he's hurt too much. He's setting up pretty gingerly and
as long as he doesn't have to run. It's the groin injury that kept him out of the last exhibition game.
It's good that he gets a little work here if he has to play next week.
Ray Malavasi looking on. He saw his Rams just take a pounding today. 3rd and 1 on the 35. Here comes Cullen Bryant. And he'll get out of bounds. That'll stop the clock with 12 seconds to go, as Bryant got it just shy of the 40. So Monty Clark, 6 years an offensive coach under Don Shula. The head coach is San Francisco.
Well,
11 years an offensive lineman. This might be one of the premier games of his lifetime.
The city of Detroit and the fans have suffered, Ben, as you know very well, on their sports teams, not just the Lions, but the Red Wings and their basketball team. So this is a big victory for Detroit. It's a good sports town.
1st and 10 on the Ram 40. Ferragamo to Moore, and the rookie makes a full turn, and he gets out of bounds inside the 45 to the Lion 42. The Lions have land to give up, and the Rams don't have any time to give up. 6 seconds left. So the Rams playing right now for their own pride and self-esteem, trying to get on the scoreboard, if nothing else, before those precious 6 disappear. 41-20 Detroit. What a shot. It was 10-6 Detroit at the quarter. It was 20-17 Rams at the half, and it's been all Detroit in the second half. Ferragamo to Drew Hill, and he can't hold on to the hot potato. 2 seconds left.
Yeah, one more play.
For Drew Hill, I guess you'll remember this turnabout. On the opening kickoff, the first play ever in Anaheim, he took the kickoff from Eddie Murray and ran 98 yards for a touchdown. But it didn't bother the Lions. They put on a remarkable display.
They showed tremendous poise today. If they don't let down, they're a team to be reckoned with.
2nd and 10 on the 42. Boy, I bet you Russ Thomas is a grin from ear to ear.
He should be.
Ferragamo with his backs in, bad leg or no, throwing on the run to Denard at the 30, and he goes out of bounds, but the zeros are on the scoreboard. Time has run out. Down on the field, there is a Ram hurt. It is Kent Hill, the big lineman, and the Lions walk off the definite winners, 41-20. For the Lions, the first time to beat the Rams in 1972. Vin Scully for George Allen. It's been quite an afternoon.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Budweiser. For all you do, this Bud's for you. The American Motors Concorde, Spirit, and Eagle, built to last from American Motors. And by America's full-service bankers, ready to serve you where you see this symbol. The NFL on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.